Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of our spring squat to trot challenge. So again, this 5-day challenge. Today we're going to focus on the core. So today I want to teach you how to engage your core to help stabilize you without tightening up. So when you tighten your core, you still want to be able to move your shoulders, you still want to be able to move your hips, your legs, everything else. So you don't want to just tighten up and brace everything. So that's the thing about riding. Some things need to be tight, other things need to be loose, some things need to be stable, other things need to be bending and giving. So today's going to be about the core. I do have my loops. These are just 9-inch loops that I'm using today. But everything can be done without loops. And if you're new to this and just trying to figure things out, start without them. So what we're gonna do first is we're just gonna do little stretches. So again, just like we talked about yesterday, we want to be able to stretch the appropriate way because body's out of alignment, things like that. So we always want to help our body. So we're gonna push and we're just gonna press up and down. As you're here, I want you to roll your hips. Tell yourself, roll my hips into the floor and then press. So I'm just pressing up and down. Okay. Then you can go back into child's pose. So my knees are out to the side, a little bit here. Take an arm under, get that twist and rotation. So again, everything is connected to the core pretty much. Your core is the center of everything. So you have, the core is everything around here. So that all has to be engaged when you're riding. If not, that's when this starts to happen. As you're cantering, the whole upper body gives. So you need to be able to stabilize the core, but your back connects to it, your pelvis connects to it. The pelvis and the hip flexors are a tricky thing because they need to be stretched out enough where you can bring your leg back and they can be perfectly straight, but they do work a lot in bending and absorbing the shock. So that's a little bit tricky. So we are going to stretch out that hip flexor. So just like we did the other day, my toe is down in the back, my knee is out. I'm rotating my hips forward. So pressing my hips forward. This time, as we're here, arm is going straight up. So don't let that hip cock out and then you lean. So again, I'm not letting the hips change. I'm leaning to stretch this whole side out. My hand can be down to support. Also, if this starts to hurt your knee, just down. You can still be pressing that hip forward on your toe. Give you another view. Or I'm right here, pressing that hip. So you feel the stretch here, and then you press up and over. I still like it down on the ground. Press. All right, let's switch other side. Toes down, press forward. So it's just that little press. You should get that hip flexor stretched out. Arm up, lean to the side. So when you're on a horse, it's not always about the biggest range of motion. You don't need to be able to lift the heaviest weight. You don't need to be able to do all these crazy things, but you have to have very good control of these little tiny movements in your body. All right, we're going to go to the wall and you're going to place one hand on the wall. So right now I have my right hand on and I'm gonna twist here. And I'm just twisting till I'm straight. If your shoulder starts to rotate in, press it back and maybe don't go quite as far. But I want to get that little bit of stretch into your core. As you're here trying to get your hips straight, I want you feeling yourself tightening your core. So my hips now are rotated in. As my hips rotate to straight again, my core starts to tighten. So I want you to do it again. Rotate your hips this way towards the wall or door, whatever you're using. As you rotate your hips straight, I want you to feel your core start to tighten. Make sure your hips are underneath you. Do the other side. So my hand goes in. Making sure my shoulder doesn't rotate forward, so it's not rolling forward with me and keeping that back. And as I rotate my hips where they're straight. So this is my horse and I'm riding my horse. And I want to be nice and straight so my shoulders back. My core is tight right here. So then I twist, relax a little, rotate straight on my horse. So my hips are straight on my horse. My hips are under. So right there, could you see my back start to arch? And I just had to remind myself to get my hips under. And I can feel my core, especially this side that's on the wall. That's what we're looking for. Do it one more time. In, press it out. All right. We're going to go back to the wall. We're going to go other side. We are going to go hand down and up. Right here. So now we're rotating to the side. As you do this, I don't want that hip to cock forward. So foot closest to the wall is forward, other foot is back. As you come up and over with your hand, don't let your hip go away from the wall. Keep yourself nice and straight, core tight, but still moving. Right here. Come out of it. Go back into it without letting that hip raise. Out of it. Back in. All right, other side. Hip, foot closest to the door is forward. Palm against the wall. My fingertips are down. Other fingertips come up. Focus on that hip. Don't let it cock out. Get the bend through your rib cage. Out of it. Stretch it up and open. Keep your breathing going. Remember, the moment you hold your breath, everything starts to tighten up. One more time. All right, shake it out. Now we're gonna get to the real work. We're gonna start with some V's with your legs. So I'm gonna show you without, and then I'm gonna show you with. Alrighty. So hands go back. As you're here, we're not popping our lower back out. We're rotating our hips down. Okay, so feet come up, and then they're crunching down and up, down and up. So feet together, feet apart, together, apart. As you do that, your core has to tighten, but your lower half is still moving. Now I'm going to add a loop around my thigh, so it's just above my knees. Rotate your hips under, shoulders back, slight lean back. So I'm going to give you this angle first. Slight lean back here. Feet up, open, and up. So this is a little extra because now we're getting glute medius, and you can come in and touch, up and open. So you can add a little extra. I'm going to show you from the front. Ready? Lean back, up, open, in, down. Up, open, and down. Keep your breathing. Keep your hips rolled under. Let's go 2 more. Open, in, down. So not only do you have to press the loops open, but you have to control them in. So you're not just letting your legs fly together in. So that's very important. All right, now we're gonna go down to the ground, and I'm gonna go crunch hold. So it's not about the fast movement. So we're going down on the ground right here. Roll your hips just like we did when we were on the wall doing our assessment. Roll your hips where they're nice and straight, so the bottom of your back is flat on the ground. Now all we're gonna do is tighten your belly like somebody's about to come and sucker punch you, and barely lift. Take a breath and slowly lower back down. Tighten, lift, slowly lower back down. So it's about these movements where you're tightening and still moving through it, but you're not rushing through it. You're not just rolling that head up where you're not actually using your core, you're just using your spine and momentum. So we want that control. It's all about the control of your body and knowing what your body is doing. During my lessons, all I do is ask, did you feel that? I go, yes, that's it. Did you feel it though? If they say no, then we go again until they get it, and I ask them again. So we're just lifting and holding. I'm holding the weight of my head in my hands, so I'm not cranking my neck. My eyesight is going straight up. I'm making sure my hips are level. Let's go 2 more. So you want to be able to breathe. And down. All right. This one, we're going in reverse again. So now our upper body is reaching back and around. So my hips are under, my back is straight. I'll show you this angle first. I'm right here, hips are under. So I'm not here where my back is arched. My back is nice and straight. Hands are here, and I'm reaching an elbow down and up. Down and up. So I'm reaching down and back, but you don't have to touch the floor if you're not there yet. So you can just be here if you need to be, or you can be here where you're rotating all the way back and down. So again, we're using those lower ab muscles. We're using obliques, which are on the side, which is great for your bending circles when you're on a horse. 1 more each side. Here, up, down, up. All right. Now we are going into our plank. Info on plank, only do it flat out on your toes if you have the capability to hold that core in. If you're still struggling and you go arched back, either go onto a step, go onto a couch, go onto a wall if you need to, wherever you need to be to elevate a little more so you can control the core. It's all about that versus how hard can you make it. So we're gonna go on hands, and I'm gonna show you from this perspective first. I'm on my hands, my feet are out, and I'm just pulling me in and back. Okay? If you need to, you're going on your knees, but again, I'm not up here. My back isn't arched. I've tucked and dropped, then in. Okay? Or you can even go to tabletop where you're a little flatter here and pull it in and out. All right? So you can do lots of different variations. You can even go on the wall or on a chair or a couch or whatever and go in and back. Okay, so no excuse here. If you're pregnant or anything like that or very soon postpartum, then I want you elevated. You can still do this. If you're a huge pregnant, obviously, you're not gonna get that knee in very far, but you can still go here. All right, and I want that elevation. Now I'm gonna take it up a level and put my loop around my feet. This is usually better with shoes on. All right, so now we're in our plank. Lift it up, roll your hips in, keep your head straight, in and back, in and back. So I'm controlling it back as well as pulling it in, right here. Let's go. 1 more each side. Last one, and down. Good. All right. Now we're gonna go side. So we're going to lift up. So if you can go straight legs. My top leg is in front, right here. And you can pull your knee in. Or you can drop the hip. Or you can drop the knee or go up to the hand. All right, so we're pulling that knee in. I am gonna go green. All right, so again, Loop around my feet. Right here, in and back. So again, you can be on your hips and still do this. Okay. You can be on your knees and do it without the loop. Or you can have the loop around your feet, or go no loop, but on your feet. So again, no excuses. 2 more. Whoop. Good. So that one has a lot of different stabilizing with your shoulder, with your hip, with your core. Other side. So lots of different ways to work here. Shoulder and hand, arm up, and go. Right here, stabilize, tighten. Remember all your options. Last one, and down. Alrighty. This one, okay, this is called a half Turkish get up. What you're doing, right now I have my left leg straight, my right leg is bent, left hand out at a 45-degree angle, right hand straight up. I'm going to rock on to my left hand that's on the ground and press myself up. I act like I'm holding a glass of milk or whatever in my hand, and I'm not letting it spill, and I'm staring at it so it doesn't spill on me. Then I rock back to my elbow, back to the ground. All right, so join me here. I'm going to press up here and back down. So as you do this, you tighten your core, but we're still moving. So we're not letting momentum take us. You're using your elbow to help press right here. Exhale as you come up. That'll help tighten those muscles a little more to help pull you up. But we're allowing ourselves to rock to the side to get some support. One more time. Rock to the side and up. Switch it. So now left knee is bent, right hand is on the ground, left hand is up. There. Slowly lower down. As I lower down, I'm also tightening my core so I don't just flop back down. So tighten here. Tighten, exhale. Big inhale. Exhale again. Slow and controlled. We're not about speed. That's the beauty of working stuff that we're not on our horse. We have time to slow down and focus. Slow down. Let's go 2 more. Here and down, but we're using our elbow to help us. And down. All right, now we're gonna go in bear position. If you're not ready for this, you're gonna be in tabletop, which is just knees under your hips, hands under your shoulder. We're not here with our back. We're pushing our hips in, so we're nice and flat on our backs. Our elbows are not, or our shoulders are not into our ears. We're pressed away, okay? The difference between tabletop and bear is you're raising your knees about a couple inches off the ground. So that tightens your core up. So as you're here, if you're going in tabletop, I want you tightening your core, and then we're just gonna crawl it forward. All you're gonna do is, if you're in bear, you're going right, left, back, right. So we're going forward 2, back for 2. All right? And I'm gonna show you this with your loop. So this one, I'm gonna go around my hands and make my arms work a little extra while I'm still working everything else. So again, if you're in tabletop, you're just crawling it and crawling it but you make it harder. You make it where you're tightening your core to support you. And go. Right, left, back, right. So we're just going forward 2, back for 2. And we're never fully extending the legs behind us. They're staying bent. And we keep breathing. Keep your shoulders out of your ears. Last time, forward and back. Good. All right, shake it out. We should have time to roll through one more time. Everybody knows what to expect now. So we are gonna roll through it. You know your variations now. There's lots of different variations. If anybody's still having trouble with any of these moves, let me know and I will be happy to help you. So we're gonna go with our V. I'm putting loop around my thighs. All right, hands behind me, feet up. Again, if you need to, you can always rock all the way back down, okay? So you can go here where you're still tightening your core, but it's not quite as much. Or you can take your hands up and go here. So lots of ways, and you can go hands behind you to make it easier or harder. Find your starting point. Don't jump to the hardest level just because you want to. Don't stay at the easiest level just because you want to. Always test the waters. Keep your breathing. Last 2. Good. All right. Now we're going to go crunch hold on the ground. So you're just going on the ground here. And I want you taking your time. Hips are level. So listening, feeling your hips. Seeing if one hip is higher than the other. Making sure your back is flat on the ground. So there's no space that you can even attempt to slide anything through. Roll them there. Hands behind your head. Crunch up, hold. Exhale. Inhale. Slowly lower down. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lower. Making sure you can move your head around so you're not just tightening your neck and throwing that around. Keep your back on the ground. Anytime your back starts to arch, that means everything you do is going to hurt your spine. Same thing goes when you're in the saddle. If you have a lot of lower back pain when you're in the saddle, that means your spine is absorbing everything, which 1 will hurt it. And 2, most likely your back is arched, so that's going to hurt it even worse. So just knowing your body, knowing where you have these issues that you can focus on. But keep in mind, you're not going to get on the horse and be like, this is the correct position. I got it. Now I'm going to hold it for 30 minutes and do that for my entire ride. That's not how it works. Just like we're doing here, we're not grabbing our 50-pound dumbbells, last one, and doing it for 30 minutes. We are slowly doing it into it. We're going nice and slow and easy. We take our breaks, we come out of it, we shake around, things like that. All of that is important to remember as soon as you get on your horse. All right. Now we're going where we're dropping our elbows, so that twist and drop. So we're here. So my hips are under, my shoulders are back. I'm not letting my back arch. So I have that slight lean back, shoulders out of your ears, back and down, and I'm reaching and up. So again, you can hold onto a knee, your opposite knee, and tap a hand down, and switch, and tap. Find a starting point. There's no excuse. I can make these as easy or as hard as you need them to be. So we're just reaching. So there's an elevation change. I'm going up, back and down. Up, tighten, back and down, pull up. So I tighten on the drop and I tighten on the upper. Hold and up. 2 more. Hold and up. Last one. Hold and up. All right. Now we're gonna go knee pulls with your loop if you have it. Find your point, remember. You can go onto a couch with your hands. You can be on your knees, go on tabletop, whatever you gotta do to get the job done. This is how you start to know and teach your body. Okay. So we're going in plank, nice and tight. So again, look at my plank. I am not here. I am not here. I am here. Okay, so that means everything has to be engaged. Tighten your belly button, tighten right below your belly button. If you can't hit that position and hold it, drop to your knees, go onto a wall, go onto a chair. Find a place to start. All right, I'm just stalling now. In and back. I'm exhaling here on the knee pull. And relax. Match your breath to the movement. Do not hold your breath. Last two. Last one. Drop to your knees. All right. I'm going to show a little bit different option for your side plank, just in case that one you didn't follow the modifications quite as well. But remember, you have a loop around your feet to go here and pulling in. I am going to go knee down, foot out, top foot out, arm under, okay? So you can just hold this if you need to. I'm tightening right here. If your knee is down, you should also feel it in your side of your hip. And then you can always add movement if you want. I'm stretching here, crunching there. Keep your foot flexed like you would be heels down in the stirrup. Don't let that hip drop. Last two. Last one. Other side. All right. Same thing. I'm going to show you this way. I'm on my knee. I have my foot out. Arm under my shoulder, arm up, crunch, and in. Heel is down, foot is flexed. I have my toes down on my bottom foot. My knee that is down, I have my toes anchored into the ground as well. Keep your hips under you. So don't let your back arch when you put your leg out. Keep it nice and straight. Last two. Last one. Good. All right. Half Turkish get-ups. You guys are almost done. Hopefully you're starting to feel your body a little more, knowing when you're contracting, but we're still having to move your hips. We're still having to move your knees. We're still having to move other body parts along with being contracted into your core. All right? And we're using our entire core. We've used hip flexors. We've used sides, we've used upper, lower, back. We've used all of it. So I'm rolling flat on the ground. Roll your hips underneath. I'm going to go right foot out, left knee bent, right hand out, left hand up. Roll to my elbow, up. Slowly roll back down. Roll up, nice and straight back. Slowly roll back down. Match your breath. So I'm doing a big exhale up. Inhale at the top. Exhale down. That's going to help you contract those muscles. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale down. Switch sides. Okay. Fix your hips. Make sure, even though this leg is bent, I don't want your hips tilted that way. So I want you to push your hips nice and square. Square hips, even though one knee bent, one leg straight. Arm out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale down. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. So I want you matching that breath. That breath is going to contract your diaphragm, which works with your core. And slow back down. Let's go 2 more. You've got this. Last one. And down. All right. All you guys have left are your bear crawls. So again, you can be on your hands and knees. I know, we learned to crawl when we were a baby, then we learned to walk, and we're like, we never have to do this again. But that does build a lot of muscles in your core. So as you're here and you're holding yourself up, you can be on your knees if you want. I don't want this. Tighten your core, push it up. Look at my back. Not tightened, tightened. So if you got to push your hand into your belly, push your hips down, whatever you got to do to cue yourself to fix your back. That's going to be your most important thing. And then you can crawl forward and back. What you don't want to do is lean that weight and drop that hip, okay? So you want to be crawling nice and straight like something is steady on your back and you are moving it. And then you move it back to the next person to grab a drink, okay? And if you want to add more, you add more. If you want to lift your knees, lift your knees. So I'm going to go in bear. So I'm going to lift my knees off the ground, crawl forward, forward, back, back. But my hips are still under. My core is still tight. I'm not so tight that I can't move and I can't breathe. I'm slowly moving, keeping everything tight. I'm trying to keep my back nice and steady. Last one forward, last one's back, and down. You guys did it. Let's stretch it out. All right. Take your feet, press them together. Lean forward. So we're going to stretch those hips out a little bit. 1 foot forward, cross, twist into that knee, stretch the spine. So we need to keep everything very mobile, even though we worked it. What happens when you have the tilted hips? So if you did your assessment and realized you could fit quite a bit of your arm between your back and the wall, that means your hips are tilted. And when that happens, it stretches out your front core muscles. So that rectus abdominis right down the front, it gets stretched out because it is having to be in this position, which stretches these out. So we want to contract them and pull them in along with stretching out that back and stretching out your hip flexors. So those get, so you're tilted here, which actually pinches your hip flexors. It pinches these muscles tighter, but your core is stretched out and your butt and hamstrings are stretched out. So we're trying to balance those so you get more naturally upright here. So when you're in the saddle, your legs and body will hang more naturally correct. Let's go. Child's pose, stretch out here. Or one arm under, get the twist. Switch. And we're gonna go up and over here. Up and over here. Keep your hips under. We're going to stretch your chest a little bit. I'm just pulling down. As I do this, push your hips under. We're going to stretch those shoulders a little bit. Just because if you were in your plank, even if you were on the wall, you're still stabilizing in those shoulders. Why, thank you. I'm getting donuts after my workout. Thank you. So yummy. All right, guys. Stretch it out. Make sure you roll. Do whatever you want. But I want you thinking about, even as you're sitting at work or driving or whatever you're doing, I want you thinking about tightening up these muscles. So you don't have to even do much. You can hold your hands right here and then try to tighten them up. So I'm trying to tighten my fingers closer together. That's where I want them to be. See if you can get that tight, but you can still wiggle all around your lower half as you're doing it. That's what we need to be able to do. Tighten up here, like somebody's gonna sucker punch you, so we've tightened up, but our hips, nothing else is tight. But I can still keep right here tight. That's what I want you guys working on as you're at work, as you're driving, as you're sitting on the couch, whatever you're doing. I just want you to be able to feel that. Just feel those muscles start to contract and still be able to move your other stuff. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3, and I'll talk to you guys later.